Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 and a brand new experiment where we're taking a look at what would happen if you destroyed a Premier League team. Now we did this in the last version of this game and it was a well received experiment. We did it with Arsenal, which did annoy quite a few fans. I think some people thought I was really going in on Arsenal for some reason, but I think that's just because most Arsenal fans are always a little bit annoyed all of the time. So today I thought I'd go after a team that just about everybody hates, and that's Manchester United. As you can see down in the bottom left of the screen, Jose Mourinho has agreed his Old Trafford departure, which really is the beginning of the end for this once great team, because if we look at the main page here, you can see that they've already completely fallen down from the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, but it's about to get an awful lot worse. They now have still their professional status, but an obscure reputation. Their finances might say rich, but they certainly are not. They have no manager, no captain, no vice-captain, and no key player. And I've also reduced the size of Old Trafford down to 20,000 with a sand surface. So, I mean, that's a pretty poor state for Old Trafford to get in. If we look at the facilities here, you can see that the stadium condition is very poor. They've no longer got undersoil heating. There's no roof, which actually there never was. And they've now got basic corporate facilities, poor training facilities, and poor youth facilities. Their junior coaching, youth recruitment, all completely destroyed as well. I've done everything I can to reduce what I can within the game. And if we have a look at their players, you can see there are none. They're all greyed out players, which means they will be based on the reputation of the club. And given the club's reputation is obscure, they are not going to be able to perform in the Premier League whatsoever. I don't know why I'm looking at Newcastle. If we have a look at the under-23s, again, they're all completely greyed out. There's the next Ryan Giggs in here, a nice Welshman for them. And in the under-18s, again, a few more Welsh lads in there, but nothing special. I don't even think they have a foreign player in their entire team, just English and Welsh players, not even a Scotsman available to them. So it really is a bad situation to be in. And even if we look at their staff, and this took ages, I managed to get rid of all of the staff that they've got except for Tony Gill and Steve McNally, who I actually can't get rid of, and all the club directors. They all have absolutely nothing to direct. Alex Ferguson must be having an absolute hernia having seen what I've done to the club. But if we just click up here and go to the edit club details, you've got confirmation, reputation down at 1, club attendance at 1, everything completely destroyed. I imagine a lot of this will bounce back up quite quickly because the game has inbuilt levels when it comes to attendance and reputation that certain clubs will just retain. But I have removed their transfer budget, their wage budget. They've got no sugar daddy. They've still got professional status. I really should switch that to amateur. And they've got a bank balance of minus £500 million. I don't want to get to the 1 billion stage, because if you go far enough down past 1 billion, it ticks over into a positive 1 billion. So that's something we desperately want to avoid. But given they've got no transfer budget or wages or players, it's not going to affect their finances too much. You can see their facilities. The reason I haven't dropped it all the way down to 1, which would be the obvious thing to do, is just because they will move to another temporary stadium, and that's not what I want them to do. I want them to try and rebuild Old Trafford from the really poor state that it's in, or have to pay to move into a new stadium. This will stop them getting a temporary fix where they just share somebody else's stadium. And their stadium condition might say 100, but that is actually the worst condition that it could be in. And you can see they've got their sand surface. I could have given them a non-grass, gravel, clay pitch, a grass synthetic mix, but I thought sand would be the most appropriate. And you can see everything else reduced down to 1 as well. Nothing else on here has been changed. I have severed all of their current affiliations just for good luck, but mostly that's it really. I mean, there's not a lot else that I can actually do to sabotage the club. Things will change quite quickly. And I'm hoping for a really dramatic shift. I think when I did this last time, I had to intervene an awful lot. I'm not going to intervene whatsoever here. We're just going to see how far down Manchester United can fall and how bad it gets to them, and at what point things turn around and they start to rise back up the rankings. So do let me know down in the comments where or which level in English football you think Manchester United will start the recovery and start to bounce back, because I think it will happen either just before they drop out of professional football, or when they finally drop down to the 5th tier. I don't think they're going to drop out of the game. There's 7 tiers in this save here. I don't think they're going to fall that far down. But let me know what you think, and drop a like on the video if you think this is a pretty good idea for an experiment. Let me know your ideas for experiments down below. If you were enjoying the experiments where we were taking a look at what would happen if we brought players back, they will come back in the future. This is just a little break. I wanted to get this video done. So let's go ahead now. We're going to go forward 1 year in time and review their first season as a destroyed club. Well, we are now 1 year into the future, and as you can see, that beautiful drop there from 6th place in the Premier League, falling all the way down to 20th. It has not got better for them whatsoever. You can see that they've got a local reputation now, which is nice, but their financial situation has fallen to in debt. They're also now in the Championship. Nice to see that Gianfranco Zola is so happy, though. He's clearly loving the opportunity to manage Manchester United. You've got Darius Henderson, currently the captain of Manchester United, 36 years old. He's had quite a long career, to be fair, and he's just banged out 30 games in the Premier League after managing just 3 games for Eastleigh the year before in the Vanarama Nationals. So that is the level that they are pitching now, Manchester United. 30 games in the Premier League, and he got a goal as well, which is pretty nice. Although he is a centre forward, so the fact he only got 1 goal, not entirely encouraging. They've also got Mark Davies in here. If we have a look at his career, he's been at Bolton for a little while, jumping up from League One into the Premier League, 9 games there, not bad for him. But if they're their main players, you do have to worry. You can also see Old Trafford's capacity has actually been dropped by about 3,000. Still got that sand pitch though, they've not managed to fix that. It's been reduced probably because of the poor condition of the stadium, although it has been improved to good, so they must have invested some money in trying to get it fixed. And you can see they're planning to expand the stadium by 2,000 seats and put undersoil heating in, which I think is probably to do with getting the pitch up to scratch. Now, I have a theory, I think, that they are never going to get rid of this sand pitch. That's my guess. It says here that we're going to find out in about a month's time. But I think they're going to have this sand pitch when we go forward in another year's time, because the regulations in the game, at least, only say that you need to have undersoil heating, not that you actually need to have grass. So I'm interested to see if they do actually put a grass pitch in there. But that's a general overview for them. Let's have a look at their senior squad schedule for that first season, and as you can see, it didn't get off well in pre-season. They failed to score a goal, getting crushed on their US tour, and then lost 7-0 to Alaves. They had the Euro Super Cup, or European Super Cup, and Romelu Lukaku has gone to Real Madrid and scored the final goal against them in that final. I mean, 3-0 against Real Madrid, not too bad anyway. Then they kicked off the Premier League with a 3-0 defeat, a 5-0 defeat, and it just kept going. Finally, against Besiktas, they managed to get a goal. Jason Davies with the first goal of the new era for Manchester United. You can see he got 34 games after coming from Bognor Regis to play at the Theatre of Dreams, probably now the Theatre of Broken Dreams, but still 34 games, 6.2 to average, not alright, it was crap. But anyway, 6-0 defeat to Chelsea, Belotti getting 5 goals. They nearly managed to hold Wolves, but still got beaten. 5-0 to Real Madrid in the Champions League as well, 5-0 to Dynamo Kiev. They did score at home against Arsenal, Barry Corr with the goal there. 7-0 to Manchester City is going to sting. A hat-trick for Aguero in that one. Still losing every game. Did they even manage to get a draw this season? 6-0 away to Crystal Palace. Showing it just keeps getting worse. Marcus Rashford, though, what a pick that is for Crystal Palace to snap him up. Still, the defeats keep coming. I don't think they managed to get a win this season. They did get a goal there. Darius Henderson managed to get his goal, and then he celebrated it with a red card. Scored against Spurs away from home at Wembley. Barry Core, his second goal of the season, no doubt the top scorer, the Irishman, came from Cambridge. So a professional footballer playing in League Two. Moved to Old Trafford, managed to get 2 league goals and an assist. Absolute legend at the club at this point. And still there now. If we go down a little bit further past that game, you can see the defeats kept on coming. No sign. They finally get a 1-0 defeat here away to Southampton, which is about as close as they came in the Premier League to not losing a game. But they lost every single match that season, which says so much. You can see their attendance still pretty high at 16,000. So bringing in the fans, but for absolute dire performances. And if we have a look at their transfer history for last season, then you can see they did bring in an awful lot of players, including some for money. Players from Barnsley, Accrington, Wickham and Rochdale. This guy here is a Swedish player, 29 years old. Definitely their marquee signing coming in from Barnsley in the Championship, but only managed to get 15 goals. I don't think there's any names here that I recognise. Matty Fryatt, maybe, 32-year-old Englishman. He used to play at Notts Forest and at Leicester and various places. A decent player to have brought in, but he didn't get many games there. So, interesting sort of approach there, just bringing in loads and loads of free players, much like a real manager in this game would do coming into a non-league team. But they did manage to stack the team out. If we have a look at their club details, although we can't actually look at them, it's not letting me get into the in-game editor, so I'll try and fix that for next episode. But I think that their fans, last time I checked, went up to about 50,000, so they did reset the attendances and various things like that, but they are not managing to fix much else. If we have a look at their staff, they have brought a few people in. You've got Darren Caskey as assistant manager, never heard of him. I can't see anybody here that I really recognise. Tony Gill's still there, the doctor. But I think realistically, for a first season, that hasn't gone too badly. There's no signs of recovery yet. Gianfranco Zola's got an awful lot of work to do. We'll just have a quick look actually at their manager history and see if he's the first manager. Oh, they've gone through a few in this first season. Gary Waddock was their first manager. What a legend he is. Let's have a look at his milestones or career stats. You can see he was at Aldershot before moving on to take over Manchester United. Aldershot currently down in the Vanarama National League. Then David Jupp came in. He was caretaker though, currently the head of youth development at Northampton. And then Gary Mills, who got sacked. If we look at his milestones, you can see he was the manager of York, and then he got relegated from the Vanarama National League, so he went to become manager of Manchester United. Absolute step down from the heights of York there, but he got sacked as well. So there was 2 managers before Gianfranco Zola came in May of this year. So will he be able to wrest the slide in the Championship next time out? Let me know your comments down below on this and what you'd like to see, where you think it's going to go, and any thoughts you've got. Do drop a like in the video if you enjoyed this one. Make sure to subscribe. Next time we're going to have a look at 2 full seasons for the club and see if they've managed to get a draw even by that point. But you can also check out my Twitter using the link in the description, or the Patreon if you want to support the channel. But until next time, see ya!